Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Clownfish TV is lying to you about the state of the animation industry. There are lots of jobs out there for anybody who wants to work in animation. Honest. Not.
Yeah. But we say it's bad. When they say it's just fact.
So we're going to take a look at this. This is coming from Cartoon Brew. It turns out that nobody's hiring in animation right now, and there are multiple reasons.
No, you don't say.
Yeah. Wow. Who could have seen that coming? Who could have seen that coming like 2 years ago? Yeah, this is the utter state of animation right now. They had ANSI, and they said that they exposed the widening chasm between student hopes and industry reality, which is everybody's going to animation school thinking they're going to get a job in animation. And meanwhile, Warner Brothers is outsourcing Tom and Jerry to China.
Well, I'm not surprised. And then, you know what? If it was outsourced to China, it probably was done in North Korea.
Probably, but you know what? It's probably going to be pretty good too. And you know what? Those animators aren't going to be out in social media causing problems and embarrassment for the studios, and they're working a lot cheaper, and that's what the studios care about. And I'm sorry.
Right or wrong. I mean, we're not
right or wrong.
We're
that's
not saying it's right. We're just saying that's the way they're doing it, what's going on.
Yeah, and we're going to see more of this. I mean, this is Tom and Jerry. This is like, one of the most classic animated franchises of all time, historically done mostly in the U.S. as far as I know. And yeah, they did this in secret. And the reason they did it in secret is because they didn't want people bitching about it until it was too late.
Probably, at least it wasn't AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that too, the AI animation studios are getting lots and lots of money now, venture capital. So this is,
and they're getting lots of money from the studios probably because they're like, yeah, this is going to save us money.
Right. Let's get rid of these people. They cost too much and they complain
too much. Yeah.
And they're frankly not worth the amount of money they're asking for. Like, we can get like 10 overseas animators for the cost of one California animator. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's what they're looking at. And again, I'm not saying I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying it is what it is. It's business.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, somebody could say, like, the sky is green, and you could argue and be correct that the sky is blue. But right now, to where they're at, the sky is green. You know what I mean? That's just happen to be the fact. It's just the way it is. Like, it's the fact of the situation. You don't have to like it, but that's how it is. Pointing it out the obvious isn't make you a jerk. Anyway.
Nope. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to news.clownshishtv.com. Help support the Reef. Get exclusive content. Yes, we're still going to post over here. People are like, are you going to move all your stuff to Substack? I'm like, no.
Nope.
No, we're not. But we are going to put our plus stuff out there because it does make a lot of sense to be like, hey, let's put our eggs in some different baskets, not just YouTube, and then be like, yeah, let's just, go all in on YouTube membership.
We're not,
so
we're not doing
we're not going to do that. We have a backup.
But also, did you mention the orcs are a-holes again?
I need to mention orcs are a-holes. Yeah. Yes, orcs are a-holes. Go to badorcs.com. Help support this campaign. We got some orc enamel pins. They're doing very naughty things because we don't think orcs are nice. We don't think
orcs
human.
are people. They're not a stand-in for certain races. They're just assholes.
They're all assholes.
And assholes come in all colors.
So we're going to talk about assholes in the animation industry. No, we're not going to talk about that one. But let's just say, look, there are some people out there who have been very quick to dismiss us and say that, we didn't know what we were talking about, the state of the industry, things are fine, everything's fine. And one of our biggest critics is currently unemployed, not working in the animation industry, because guess what? There aren't a lot of jobs right now. And I'm sorry, but it's not our fault. We didn't cause it. It is what it is. Don't necessarily agree with it, but here's where we're at. So this is coming from Cartoon Brew, which also got in trouble for, calling things out. And
did they really? Shocker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anybody who points out the obvious, like the emperor's not wearing clothes, how dare you? But he's still flipping naked, whether you want to hear it or not.
Yeah, and look, the industry is not in a great place right now. Yes, some movies are making a lot of money at the box office, but the studios, they're going to look at and they're going to be like, we got to make profit, right? And we know that Warner Brothers doesn't seem to think much about animation right now. Cartoon Network is a shell of itself. Nickelodeon over at Paramount is a shell of its former self. Disney's not greenlighting a ton of animated content anymore. Just stuff that they know they can make money off of.
Pretty much.
So
Safe
NC
bet. Safe bet.
Safe bet, right? Because it's expensive, right? Let's come from Cartoon Brew, and we'll go out to the original article too. They said NC exposes the widening chasm between student hopes and industry reality. So there's a
Are you allowed to say that reality? You have to give them you have to tell them what they want to hear, even if it's not true. So they waste their life and they get mad at you because you said, hey, you might want to plan accordingly.
Yeah. So this is actually coming from a Medium article, and they said here are the takeaways. Is really brutal. They said key takeaways. They said only a fraction of animation graduates, as few as 3 to 5 out of every 100, secure employment in their chosen field.
Yes, this is yes. Thank you. Someone's going to tell them the truth besides us. Go ahead.
Despite an industry valued at $400 billion globally, major studios, including Pixar, have reduced their workforces by 14%, while simultaneously increasing their reliance on artificial intelligence and sequel-based content.
How dare you?
You're lying.
You're a bigot.
You're listening to Clownfish TV. Animation festivals like ANSI, which should serve as crucial bridges between education and employment, are failing to provide meaningful recruitment opportunities despite charging premium attendance fees. Universities continue expanding animation programs while knowing full well that industry absorption rates cannot support graduate numbers.
Well, to be fair, universities in general do that for all majors.
Oh,
not
yeah.
Just, yeah.
Well, SCAD's actually one of the most notorious. I mean, SCAD just like cranks them out like
I've
crazy.
seen people graduate from SCAD that had like zero talent. They're literally finger painting. And then they're like, I'm entitled because I went to SCAD. And I'm like, how did you get in? Anyway, continue.
They had money. That's how you get into SCAD. You had money. A new model of industry collaboration, educational transparency, and creative risk-taking is urgently needed to prevent the collapse of animation's talent pipeline. Well, it's not going to matter as much. So here's some of the disconnect. There was a very long article they wrote, but Cartoon Brew picked some of this out here. They said the disconnect between educational marketing and employment reality has created what industry observers describe as an academic industrial complex. Universities promote animation programs using imagery of Pixar campuses and DreamWorks success stories while carefully avoiding discussions of actual statistics, because Pixar is laying off, DreamWorks is outsourcing to India, and they're using more AI. And it said students accumulate debt pursuing dreams that statistical analysis suggests are increasingly unlikely to materialize.
Yes, this is what we've been telling you. We've been saying, this is what we've been saying. We've been saying about animation, we're like, heads up, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. If you're in animation, you might want to consider doing something else temporarily, or might want to start your own thing or do this and that, plan ahead because it doesn't look good. And then it's like, how dare you tell me that my dream can't come true? That's not what I told you. What I told you was right now, the reality is this. If you want to make your dream come true, you're going to have to probably do it yourself and do these things, but you don't want to hear that. You want to hear, I'm going to keep my ass in a cushy seat and be a dime a dozen, but I get paid. But the majority of you that go into art school aren't going to ever get to that seat to begin with. And now there's fewer seats. It's magical chairs, and you're not going to get one. And I'm sorry if you don't want to hear it, but they're going to take your money and tell you that you can. There's chairs all over. There aren't chairs. The chairs are in China. The chairs are in Korea.
Yeah. Because it's cheaper. Really, you only need a skeleton crew here in the U.S. doing the storyboarding or whatever.
And even then, AI is going to take that too. It's not right. I don't agree with it in any way, shape, or form, but it's going to be what's going to happen. Not the reality. Me telling you what's going to happen is not the same thing as me wishing, hoping that you all fail. You can point out the truth. Honesty and negativity are not the same thing.
Right. And we're looking at in the very near future, kids are going to be able to make their own cartoons on their iPads.
They're doing it now in Blender and crap.
Yeah. And they're going to be like, I'm just going to make my own cartoons for me. This is what I want, That's going to happen very, very soon. So it's going to be harder even because then the studio produced stuff is going to be, even more of a unicorn, I guess. But they said there were dozens of animation schools this year. Only a handful of studios were looking to recruit talent. This arrangement benefits both schools and event organizers, but it's a fantasy environment that shortchanges young attendees who are looking to enter the industry.
And how much they charge them to go to this too? And then you have to fly to France and everything else.
The solution requires action from all parties, events, schools, and studios. So the author of the original article said the common sense ideas for reform on the event side are applicable not only to ANSI, but to many other events as well. They suggested festival organizers should implement tiered exhibition fees, charging premium rates to companies without active recruitment, while subsidizing booths for studios offering genuine employment opportunities. Well, there aren't very many of them. Sorry. Festivals should establish year-round digital portfolio platforms other than relying on brief, expensive physical events. Again, if nobody's hiring, what's the point? I'm just saying. Boy, I sound like Debbie Downer, but I'm just saying this is everything we've been saying. And it just continues. We continue to be right. And then we've got people out there being like, you're lying. You don't know what you're talking about. We have industry veterans coming out and saying the same damn things.
Some of them said we were right and they watched the video.
Some of them were saying, some of them were saying we were right. Them. And they got harassed off of threads until they took their post down because you can't agree with Clownfish TV because they're alt-right Nazis for telling you the truth. Why are we alt-right?
Because we told them the truth and they didn't want to hear
it. I know, right? Most importantly, festivals must abandon romanticized career presentations in favor of honest industry discussions, panel sessions.
Yes!
Oh my God.
Who wrote this? I love you. Not as much as I love you, don't worry.
Okay, panel sessions should include employment statistics, salary realities,
yes,
and alternative career paths rather than perpetuating unrealistic expectations about traditional animation careers. Thank you.
God damn, yes.
Thank you. This is, who is this? Go out, Matt Jones. Matt Jones.
Mwah. Yes.
110% right. And I'm not going to show his whole article because it is a member-only story, but 100% right. You need to be realistic with people, but you're going to get so much shit. But the thing is that if you really want to do this and you're really dedicated and you don't think you're going to be handed a job right out of school, you will find a way. You will find a way to make it work. And it might mean adapting or altering your workflow. It might mean tempering your expectations. It might mean going into something else for a while.
It might be going a different direction completely. And it might be going out and having to do the hard work and do it yourself, while you do something else. And that's what a lot of people do. But the people that are going to get through are the scrappy people who you're going to, find a way, and they're going to take the risks, and you won't always win. And you're going to fail 100 times for every time you succeed. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
But the ones who are going to do better are the ones who are willing to try, and they don't just decide, well, I should be just giving it because I'm me. No one's going to give you shit because you're you, unless you're like, you've been around for years and they know they're going to make money off of you.
I know so many people that were working in the animation industry 10 years ago. They're not working in the animation industry right now.
That doesn't mean you can't use your animation degree for something else. I mean, you can start your own thing. I think more people should start independent studios, because if you can undercut, and you can charge what they're charging in other countries, you might be able to keep the work stateside and keep people employed. Because you don't have as many of you. You're leaner and meaner, and you can do this. But you're going to have to do your own thing. You can go, there's all kinds of jobs that are adjacent to animation that you could probably get yourself into. And some of them probably pay better, to be honest.
Yeah. So they think the Tom and Jerry movie that was animated in China was primarily for Chinese audiences because animation's so big over there. But they didn't say anything about anybody here in the U.S., which is wild. Because I think they knew, especially with the strikes going on, that it was going to be a huge issue.
Well, I do know that companies and stuff like Netflix and Disney and that are making content specifically for audiences in other countries. Like they're having stuff made, animation, live action, whatever. Disney was doing a whole bunch of that, especially for audiences in other countries where they have a big presence in.
Yeah, because apparently Tom and Jerry are, I did not know this, they're pretty big in China.
Well, We Bare Bears was doing a bunch for Korea.
Yeah, We Bare Bears was huge. Yeah, it was huge overseas.
Right. I wonder why Tom and Jerry, because I thought that was weird.
Yeah, but apparently they're very popular overseas.
Okay,
so like David Hasselhoff, I guess. But they said a mysterious and previously unannounced CGI animated Tom and Jerry feature is premiering and appears to be made primarily for Chinese audiences. Tom and Jerry: The Forbidden Compass is a co-production between Chinese studios and Warner Brothers in the U.S. with a Chinese director. While it's certainly surprising that Warner made an entire animated feature using the classic IP for a specific market outside the U.S., it's not surprising.
Not surprising.
The characters they used are Tom and Jerry. And they said, yeah, Singapore, I guess, loves them too.
It's not surprising to me at all because I've seen this before. Like we've mentioned, it was other IP. They're huge in other places, so you see it a lot more. They get like brand deals over there and all kinds of stuff, but we don't see it here. I thought it was weird about Tom and Jerry, but it makes sense. But hiring the Chinese company with a Chinese director for an audience you want to target that's outside the U.S. makes sense, and you're going to get that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Warner Brothers at this point, they don't care. As long as they can make money, they don't care.
And they're going to go where their audience is.
Yeah. And I think this is going to be more and more normalized, I think, because animation's so big in China, so big overseas, that they're going to be like, yeah, we'll make the stuff for over there first. And if it's popular, we'll bring it back over here. But the fact they didn't announce it at all over here tells me that they were keeping on the down low because they knew that American Western animators were going to scream about it and probably be like, you need to go through the unions if you want to make movies about your own properties. You have to go through us. You're outsourcing to China. What's wrong with you? How dare you? I guarantee you right now, as we're recording this video, there are probably a couple hundred productions going on overseas that would have maybe been done here in the States, but it's not cost effective to do it here in the States, and also using AI.
And also they might be making them for the different audience in the United States.
That's true. And that will happen. Again, if you can bring the cost down, you can actually afford to do that, right? If the movie doesn't cost $300 million and you can make for $300 million, you can make 10 movies and do them for specific markets. It's like, fine, let's do Tom and Jerry for Sweden or whatever. America doesn't have to know. I mean, they did that with Powerpuff Girls. They had Powerpuff Girls Z for Japan. And, this happened before. Several Western franchises they've done for Japan or for other audiences or whatever. But yeah, they don't owe Western animators an explanation. They're the rights holders. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, I know. But and they just, I mean, right or wrong, they're just feeling like they're going to send it. In this case, I think they're sending it to China because one, it's cheaper, but two, they're doing it for that audience, which makes sense. But they're sending it to other countries, even for Western shows, and they've done this for years. Like you're talking like back to 60s, 70s, and so on. They used to do this. It's not new. No. They used to do it a lot more for a while, and then they did stuff over stateside. But it used to be like commonplace to send it over there anyway. But it is what it is, and I think screaming about it, throwing fits, striking over every little thing, that kind of stuff, not helping your case. They're just going to step over you, which we told you was going to happen. Do I think you have some valid points that you addressed? Yes, definitely yes. Do I think they're going to just step over you and go where it's cheaper? Yes, definitely yes. So
yeah, and again, it just comes down to the money, and the money's not there, and it's definitely not there to pay people what is a living wage in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is.
It sucks, but it is what it is. And so I guess with that in mind, like, you're gonna have to temper your expectations and realize that they're saying 3 to 5 graduates out of 100 are actually going to get a job.
And do you know how much they charge for these schools? Like,
oh my God,
SCAD, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do not put yourself into debt like that for something that is a maybe. I mean, that's 3 to 5% is really low as far as placement's concerned for a career field. That's low. And I mean, even if it was 10%, that's still, I don't know if it's still worth spending as much money as they charge. That's why these schools are getting in trouble from the government, because they're for extorting students and stuff, because they are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So there it is, guys. Cold dose of ice water to the face first thing in the morning. But,
yeah, that's why they hate us.
That's why they hate us, but we're not saying it. We're just telling you what other people are saying, and most people, frankly,
no, we're saying it too, but they're agreeing with us. So
they're agreeing with us. So
Second,
anyway,
I guess
we're gonna wrap it up.
Yes.
Wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.